You take a look at those second half struggles for Florida State, and it's a wildly different story.
They scored some points in this second half, so they're building.
Yeah, they're building. And look, a win.
Wasn't a shutout.
At the end of the day, we all play the game, coach the game even. A win is a win, but coach, something still feels like there's reason for pessimism.
Well, it was very difficult for them to have to live through that, and they did hang in there, and they won the game. But there's a couple things in my crawl. I know that the drive that Louisiana-Monroe, where they kicked the field goal to tie it at the end.
Sure.
Guy has a personal foul, and it keeps the drive going. Yeah.
Yep.
Dontavius Jackson, right?
Yep.
Then later on, then they get the ball with, what was it, 1:30 to go. And on fourth down, they're getting ready to punt it. They call timeout before they punt.
Right, they stopped
to give the other team a minute, and all three timeouts where it could have bit them right there at the end of the game. Obviously, it went to overtime, and they ended up winning it. But just some things that were happening that was, where they were. The world, I guess, the Seminole world was shaking, but thankfully Cam Akers was there to steady the boat.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something that was really just shocking to me. And you think of Kendall Browse coming in, and you think of just Florida State in general in the past, because you're the OC there. You think of big plays, plays over the top, big run plays. Guys, they had 2 plays over 20 yards, 2 explosive plays. That is just mind-boggling to me on number one, what you're calling. Number two, I thought that's why we brought Kendall in. I thought that was the whole point and what he, was bringing to this offense. But like you said, Cam Akers, that's saving grace with him having 36 carries, 193 yards, 2 touchdowns. That became their offense, but it worked. And I think they just needed to get him the ball.
And that's kind of what I want to ask you guys about, because for all that you could glean bad on with this one, Cam Akers has really shined for this Florida State team.
He definitely did. And, the discussion about Florida State getting back, that needs to fade away. And I only say that because the focus just needs to be on these games currently right now.
Right.
Handle the opponents you have. Don't worry about what the guys have done in the past. Don't worry about what Florida State did versus ULM back in 2000, whatever. Take care of these opponents right now, because you can't win in the ACC with these types of performances in the second half. You have to be good on third down. You have to convert when you get a chance to get in the red zone. And you can't turn the ball over. You can't have a quarterback and a receiver, a play that I've seen them run over 30 times, be on the different pages. One guy runs a fade and he's throwing a stop route. You can't have that.
And I think one thing that you can't rely on Cam Akers to do this every single night. He's going to get burnt out.
Right.
Physically, he's going to start deteriorating if he's getting, 41 touches a game.
Right.
And it's going to be like, it's unsustainable. And we'll talk about it a little bit later, but A.J. Dillon, and showing that he has that supporting cast, guys on the FSU team need to step up.
And I think part of it, too, is the no-huddle offense that they're running. To me, when you have a no-huddle team, Coach, you can probably touch on this, too. That's at least you're getting first downs. The drives are going. When things are starting to get stagnated, slow it down, get in the huddle. Let the coach do some check with me's, look at the coverage, and then maybe call
it
the
can
play
be your worst enemy.
It's sometimes the worst thing, because there's no rhythm on offense. I mean, the defense is doing their best, but there's no rhythm on offense.
Well, if you get a couple 3-and-outs,
kills you.
Then you've had the ball for, time of possession, maybe 35 seconds, and all of a sudden your defense is back in the field. Now, like you say, if you're getting first downs, you just get that first down.
Exactly.
You get into the 4th and 5th play, and now those defensive linemen, they got to start deciding, do they want to sub the big boy or not? Then you got something going. But if you have too many 3-and-outs, your punter is going to, pull a hamstring from punting too much. And then it's going to be just so tough on your defense.
And I think another thing, I know we're talking about offense, and we talk about offense a lot. I'm very concerned with this defense. I mean, they had 1 sack. This is Florida State, and you have 1 sack? There's just a lot of things that they're going to have to fix. I think that if you're Coach Taggart, you celebrate the win. You got to win. You showed that you can go through adversity, go down to the wire, celebrate the small, because it's hard to win. It really is.
I mean,
and you got to find the silver lining.
No doubt.
Eric, you talk about hard to win. Florida State at Charlottesville next week versus Bryce Perkins in Virginia. We know about that defense. We know about the dual threat quarterback. Florida State's been challenged in places we didn't expect in the first 2 weeks. They will really be challenged in week 3.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN+. We'll see you there.